processor here with this 101. I got rid of all my Innovonics 222s. And this is a little 223 that they've come out with. It's a very small little unit. Really, really small. And but it does everything. Multiple bandwidths. It's very, very nice little processor. A little pricey. If anything here that I have to concentrate on basics and stuff like that. So that's what I'm using, along with an old 528E Symmetrics. So, let me see. I've been turning it to Jerry, and sorry about your name there, but now that I got some coffee in me. Or no, I've been turning it to Tim, I guess. Now I can't remember. I should have put an arrow next to who I turn it to here. So, Tim, pick her up. It is Tim. WA1HLR in the group, W2SDR, New Jersey. Yeah, one time, at least the last time I worked. Yay. Just playing around with the audio level a bit. And Jimmy, K5NSN, very 25 up here in the state of...
Tim, if you were sitting in closer to me, I would have to be putting up with your bad breath and everything else. Sounding great down there.
Yeah, good morning to you. Yeah, you're just about with the other stick. I'm probably running the least amount of power, just about. And Perry, are you on your DX100 or another piece of gear?
I'm on the Anon this morning. The DX100 is warming up on the other side of the room. Over.
Configure and you have those couple.
No, that was Perry. So you're running a 4x1. Well, it's not good up here. No problem at all. Perry is W3MMR. Perry, you just using your DX100 this morning?
No, Tim. I'm on the Anon this morning. I'm on the SDR this morning. The DX100 is warming up on the other side of the room. Over.
Okay, well, that sounds very good. I've heard Jerry's signal over the years. There's some changes here and there. Everybody has a somewhat different philosophy. Reverse the polarity. But then after a while, you realize that, what you're listening to and what it sounds like in particular media as with an SDR and good bandwidth to email you the audio file. You can listen to keep your own playing it out of the computer somewhere. Good input from there. No, that's right there. It'd be a real good idea. Come across sounds about as good as it's going to be. But it's proper. I think, shot.
So I go line with one. Single unit 4-band compressor limiter. Back in the day, active balanced in and out. Very clean working unit. So I use that as a stage gain to bring the up from the electric condenser microphone. And now I'm just going to the that is a preamp or a block of gain. Probably better than 15, almost 20 years. I've had this process go for a long time. And there are people too much I don't know the audio section of that. The whole line of their last receivers like HQ 100, 110, 170, and 180. They all ripped it out essentially. Transformer in there. Got rid of that variable negative feedback scheme. No idea what this is that. When you turn the audio gain up, the audio response would narrow up. It's always useful for the CW operator or slump bucket operator who uses the RF to set the audio the speaker in a bad way. So that peaks the audio for CW. That helps. Stay in here as soon as we're going to work. People are going to start climbing on here and I'm not one much for nets. I participate in a couple, but a net is one of those things where if you're working on a project in there and a bunch of those that you know and people are checking on that.
Then it sounds kind of ratty. So, anyway.
One transition and all the gear except that's my take. Well, that's pretty well. A lot of different people, a lot of different ways of doing things keeps it interesting. I'll probably one more. So you, Jerry. Yeah, you sound A-OK. I just have my ideas about audio, Yeah, it sounds like a business deal went wrong there. Hopefully, I'd just say you had 4 weeks or about a month to get it together. Yes,
Whiskey Alpha 3 Mike Juliet Yankee.
Anyway, by a pair. I had acquired a 20V3 that is still at the radio station in town here, and when went through some times where they changed the locks and I got stuff in there and I don't have access. So I don't know if I'll ever get that transmitter. But I kind of thought, well, I'll look it over and it might be interesting if the V3's layout is similar to that of the V1 and the V2, but different cosmetics and maybe a smaller cabinet. But that'd be interesting. It'd be to make it into a Robert box. I got all the iron that would handle the power, that's for sure. Anyway, enough of that. So, Jimmy, why don't you go ahead, and then I believe I'm not much for roundtable order. After 4 people are in there and more people break in, I completely lose track. K5NSN from WA1HLR, I'll be listening.
Okay, real good, Tim. Man, it's great to hear you this morning. But I don't know who to send it to. I just kind of jumped in here in the middle of things after K9GAS made a transmission there a few minutes ago, and I'm not sure where to send it. So I apologize, but I hadn't really been in here but maybe 15 minutes before I hit the plate switch. But anyway, I'll just say good morning again. I don't have a whole lot to add. Just thrilled that you guys can hear me over there east of the Mississippi. My antenna situation here with separate transmit and receive antennas and this and that. The whole system has taken longer than I thought to get it together. And then, a couple of storms last spring kind of put everything back on the back burner and made me have to start over on a couple of things. So, man, it's good to be able to hear this far again. Working all the way up into Maine, that makes me feel pretty good, especially with AM phone, because it's, we all know the on receive, so I've made provisions here for that as well, with several different receive antennas that I can go between to get rid of local QRN and atmospheric noise, this, that, and the other. But anyway, very good morning. I'm going to throw it back up to Jerry, K9GAS, because that's kind of where I stepped in, and that's the wrong direction to send it. Please accept my apologies. Stuff happens. Anyway, Jerry, good morning to you up there. Sure good to hear your voice as well, neighbor. K9GAS and anybody else out there. This is Kilowatt 5, never say never.
Okay, Jimmy. Good morning to you. Good to hear you. Not hearing you direct, though, K5, never say never, K9GAS. I'm listening to you on Mike's K3FES WebSDR this morning. I can hear most of the direct, but you're in there just pretty weak, so I'm not in your bounce. But hearing you just fine on Mike's WebSDR. Tim, you think you're talking about audio and Frank's second thing? Yeah, I like audio. I play with that a lot. That's why you hear the variations. And I have several profiles because I'm using commercial external processes, I'm not a real fan of the 528E, but okay. I mean, it's just the strip. They serve the purpose, but I kind of fell into the applications of Symmetrics or Brothers of the Air Tools, which is very similar, but a lot more power or a lot more to them. They do have high and low pass filters, etc. And the downward expanders on that thing works way better than the 528E. But it has a fairly weak PSA. And they have the ability through the network cable to actually watch the software control. Not just on the computer, just a control function, but it lets you see things visually, which is kind of nice. So anyway, but I know it's all subjective. too good. I have had KHUCNI, Kevin, and W3MMR both have recorded me and sent me files, so that's where I'm setting here fairly well. And it's pretty much like me, but yeah, I can change that just in a click of a mouse. That's no big deal. But I know you never sound too basic to me, Tim. And I have to agree, so many audio comments, and when you find out what they're listening on, I just shake my head. I'm thinking, okay, that's a worthless comment, because what they're listening on is pretty poor. Anyway, but you've heard that many times. And Frank, I was going to comment on this, the surface mount, and I have to agree, and it's actually not hard. I have the tools, and the IC on the old Flex 3000, they are the actual pins, the 12-pin each side pin, but they're the pin through hole, so they're, you have to get to the back side to desolder, which I have the tools. I've got a Haco desolder tool, which has the vacuum. I have the Weller as well, and I do have the hot air tools and the tweezers. So what I do like about surface mount is you don't have to get behind them. So it is a bit easier, though I have found some of them, I knocked an ADC out on the E-Lab, and doggone it, they don't just solder it, but they super glue those chips down for protection. Try to get that off. Holy cow, and it's a double and triple layer board too, with some faces in between, so they complicated that intentionally. So some things are real fun when it comes to that, but if it's a normal surface mount, then it's fine, because you don't have to get to the back side with the through hole and get your fingers in there trying to figure out how to get to it, like some of those helicopters and other things that's got so much stuff in there. You can't get to it very easy, so surface mount makes that easier as well. So I do have a very nice magnifying glass on the gooseneck, because, man, I can't see that stuff. Some of it's so small that, grain of rice size, but, once you get the hang of it, it's not too bad. Just get the parts and get a little bit. I don't stuff like that around, because like you said, once you get it, it stays. It's a long time before something. And what happened here, I was just spinning one day, and next thing I lost my PA section, but tested the board, it's fine. It's just a switch between the controls, so it's just invisible to it, that's all. So anyway, and Tim, on the 20 V3, okay on that. Isn't that one just a little wider than the V2s? I was thinking it looked like it, but I couldn't tell. And, this is one of the rubber boxes in the Motorola cabinet, as I don't have room for the V2, V3 cabinets in here. It's a 9x9 room. So it's only, 22 inches, maybe it's 25, anyway, 19 deep. 5.5 feet tall, got the 5 meters, but boy, I'll tell you, that box is full. Cram tight, and that's the only downside about that. It's a pain when it comes to stuff like that. I've been working on the meters. I was trying to light them up, and I had LEDs drilled into little triplet 3-inch meters, which worked okay, but you had to have it in between, the faceplate and the body, and trying to slip them through and get those done, man, that was a real pain. It looked good when it was working, but old bulb or something started going out, trying to disassemble it. I cranked one of the springs on the arm and put a new meter in there, so no lights on the meters now. I'll somehow do a reading light, 12-volt, license plate lamps on top, and just to light the face of it so I can see it in the dark. I have to turn the light on. But, yeah, single 4x1 here with a pair of 400s, modulating that pair of 6SJ7s and speech amp. And, yeah, I can reverse the polarity easy enough. Everything's positive. I went through from the deck all the way through to make sure of that, but, asymmetric audio from a male voice, there's all kinds of features, voice symmetry controls, etc., but most of that's turned off on this thing, so I'll pick up polarity and just leave it. And found the positive negatives where the Voices doesn't give you control over negatives, but if you put positive to it, you're supposed to, and it does, holds at about 98%. And I have the density control where, I'm watching my watt, and my modulation meter doesn't bounce back and forth. It goes right there about 90% days. So density should be pretty decent on this anyway. That's the story here. Very old too. I'm thinking the guys are going to kick up here. But I'd rather do this, that's for sure. Anyway, W3MMR was a whole lot. I don't want to make this my last one because I know this is going to get real busy in here and very hard to catch you guys over there. Hopefully you're still there. All right, Perry, this is K9GAS. Jimmy, good to meet Tim. Good to be with you and Frank as well. Hopefully we'll catch you guys another time and try to get in here earlier. This is K9GAS. It's Jerry, but that's all right, Frank. I'll answer anything. See y'all later. This is K9GAS, and I'll listen to it.
Yeah, 4HHK, don't run off there, Jerry. You're booming into Florida.
Yeah, I heard that gentleman saying that you were booming into Florida, Jerry. I didn't quite get the call. But there's someone in Florida saying you're booming down into Florida with a big signal, Jerry. So, and he said, "Don't run off too fast," is what he said. Anyway, good morning, Jerry. Have a great one. And it's always a pleasure to hear you. And I agree with what my father said about your audio. It's very signature. It has its own, almost its own life to it. You know it's you from the other side of the room. You don't even have to really make out what you're saying. You don't have to make out the words, but it's Jerry. The real nice, smooth, full fidelity type audio. A little bit laid back, a little bit on the quiet side, but very easy to listen to. You can sit there and listen to you all evening. It's not harsh on the ears like some audio can be. But 7-3 to you, Jerry. Have a great Sunday, and I'm sure we'll talk to you again real soon. And yeah, Popular. In my short time in ham radio, I think you're definitely the first person I've heard compare pizza and transmit audio. So, but you're right, it is subjective. It's all up to it's in the eye of the beholder. As I've definitely noticed that I like certain audio, then other people don't like it, and so on and so forth. So, I guess that kind of is what it is. But thanks for the compliments on the audio, Tim. Just on the Anon this morning, and the AL80B running about 175 watts of carrier. Just installed some new software for the Anon last night. The most recent update for this new 2.6.8 Protocol 2. And seems to be working real good, so just trying to get everything back set to where I had it before. And hopefully everything sounds okay. And I can worry about getting all the cosmetics and all that crap worked out later on. But maybe when the band improves a little bit, we'll hop over on the DX100 and the NC303. Just the atmospheric noise this morning here is very, very high. I know there is a solar storm going on, but I think we're in the waning hours of it. So things should start to improve, but my noise floor here is about 10 to 15 over at times at the moment. So with the urban noise on top of the atmospheric noise, things are kind of rough. So being able to utilize the WebSDR and utilize the features of the Anon for rough operating conditions definitely helps things out. So we're just still stuck with the Anon this morning. But anyway, I'm gonna put it back on the quiet side and get back into listening mode here. Do some things around the shack, sip on the mud, get going here, get some things accomplished today. And good morning to you, Jimmy, K5NSN in Texas. I don't know how well you're copying me, but you're right above my noise floor here at about 10 over, just a little bit over. So I've been listening to you on the FEF WebSDR as well. Sound real good on the WebSDR, no doubt about it. And hopefully we can link up on the bands again real soon. And a good signal coming out of Texas this morning. But all right, Tim, Jimmy, Pop, we'll talk to you guys a little bit later. We're going to say 7-3. Listen out. And you guys enjoy your Sundays. Over to you, Pop. W2SDR in the fine group. W3MMR. 7-3.
Go ahead, Frank. You there? Well, probably not. I'm going to take this opportunity to slide out as well. There's another QSO that's 5 kilohertz removed from here, and somebody is very loud and making an old buzzard transmission, and there's a lot of crap. And now I know why I don't operate up on this part of the band that much during the weekends. It gets very crowded. People seem to be into this 5 kilohertz channel spacing mentality, which if you have groups that are far enough apart where they don't really get in each other's faces, 5 kilohertz can work. But when the propagation is real good between two different groups that are only 5 kilohertz apart, it gets very, very messy, like the usual top end of 40 meters. Yeah, on the receiver audio and all that, where I was going with that is just about any so-called communications receiver has got crap audio in varying degrees of being crap audio. Some of the receivers, like I'm using an SX62, which is basically like a dumbed-down SX42. The SX42 is like the late great receiver that Yellowcrafters introduced just after WW2, the big one, to take the place of the SX28. They all have push-pull output, and it's all done up very similarly. And it's not necessarily high fidelity. And they have this mentality of 500 ohms audio output rather than 4, 8, and 16 ohms. So, when you start adding it up and you look at the big picture, there's a number of things that can be done to make the push-pull internal audio into really good high fidelity audio. Well, I like the challenge of it, but it is real easy to come off the detector. But what's a more convenient thing to do is you come off the wiper arm of the audio gain pot and bring that to an RCA jack or a suitable connector in the back of the receiver, so you can still use the audio gain pot as though you were using the internal audio and have a good audio amplifier sitting up on the shelf or whatever. Yeah, a good set of speakers. Yeah. Well, that's the problem. Why do some people I sound muddy is they're using a receiver with too narrow a bandwidth. Another thing is very few communications receivers use negative feedback around the audio output stage. The so-called ham radio speakers that come along with the receivers, like you mentioned the National NC300. Well, there's an 8-inch replacement grade speaker in a metal box with a small magnet, which has got a big hump in the mid-bass part of the audio response. So in a way, you can take somebody with rather nasty restricted audio and listen to them on a receiver like that with that speaker, and they'll say, "Oh, geez, you sound good." That's because the natural resonance of the speaker and the fact that there's no negative feedback will allow there to be a big bump in the frequency response. So if somebody like myself has got a transmitter with real good low end to it and has a certain amount of low end component, it's going to sound like mud. You know? But if you have a good audio section with negative feedback wrapped around it and a reasonable bandwidth and a good speaker system, at least one, it'll sound a whole lot better. And then when you listen to somebody with like a stock Apache or DX100 and compare it to somebody with good full bandwidth audio and whatnot on a receiver with restricted audio and so-so speaker, the two are going to sound a lot closer. Yeah, the guy with the good audio is going to sound better, but it's not earth-shakingly different, whereas once you have a good audio section and good speakers and wide enough bandwidth on the receiver, assuming that the conditions are good, the guy with the high fidelity audio is going to sound much, much better. It's a stark night and day difference in that case. And then from listening, you begin to ask yourself, why is it that so many people are satisfied with something with stock audio and are only going halfway as far as trying to make it better? But to each their own. Anyway, I'm going to get out of here, and it's good hearing everybody in there. Jimmy, good to meet up with you. Very good signal out of Texas. Jerry, of course, Perry, and Frank. I'm going to fade to black. We'll see you all later. This is WA1HLR listening out.
Yeah, I missed my turn. I was distracted, but let me sign out. 7-3. See you, Tim, Jerry, Jimmy, everybody. 7-3, W2SDR.
Okay, Frank, I had one comment about the Lyme disease. It depends on if the CDC and AMA protocols don't begin to deal with what really needs to be dealt with. I've been on like 5 or 6 different antibiotics all at the same time for a period of over a year, and that's what it takes. Constant drilling and blasting and drilling and blasting. The problem is the standard issue medical establishment does not length of treatment or prescribe the length of treatment that has to be done to get rid of it, so therefore it reoccurs. So that's the story. I'll catch you later.
See you, Tim. It's good hearing you again, man. It's been a while, and it sounds like you're definitely going down the right track with your treatment. 7-3, W2SDR.
See ya.
See you, Tim, and everyone else. W3MMR.
Clear for you. Boy, the band's opening up, Perry. You're way up there now.
Yeah, you know, to come up as well. Yep, finally shortening up now that the old sun is peeking over the horizon there.
This morning, this afternoon, into the state of the computer.
Yeah, that's pretty dramatic, those videos, aren't they?
No, I mean, really. I mean, you could... I guess, you know, once you know what you're doing with it, you could really utilize it. I mean, I've tried to utilize, like I said, I was trying to utilize it on the 303, but wasn't quite doing it right. So, you know, once I get a little better at it, I'm sure I can, really utilize it for what it's worth.